Today was a very hard day for Young Thug in the courtroom. After hours of evidence being presented to him in court, Young Thug looked very defeated in the courtroom and sadly ready to give up. As we saw reports being released of Young Thug looking very defeated in court recently, with this sad video attached. Leave a like on the video if you're a fan of Young Thug. I'm curious how many fans are watching today. Now that video went viral online today. Court officials also added to the report stating, "Noticed how in the video clip, Young Thug is alone in the courtroom. No other YSL members being told the new charges and evidence proves that he's being targeted the most out of anyone in the case." Now that statement makes the whole court case feel even more serious, as Young Thug's sister also spoke, telling us to realize that Young Thug is going to court daily, 8 hours a day. People he called his brothers turning on him and snitching. This is a very hard time for him, and it seems as if every court hearing that Young Thug is involved in during the Rico trial, people are either snitching on him, setting him up, or affecting his future in the case in some way. As very recently, a YSL member in court tried setting up Young Thug for something very serious, as it was announced that Young Thug tried pulling something during trial in front of several cameras and security guards, as Young Thug was quickly caught in the process and is allegedly facing consequences for it soon. As it was announced, exclusive, my colleague Mark just obtained video surveillance that shows the moment prosecutors accuse Young Thug and his co-defendant, Khalif Adams, of conduring a hand-to-hand deal in court, with the official footage attached to the tweet. The thread continues saying, prosecutors say the surveillance shows Adams walking to where Young Thug is seated with his attorney, and then he drops narcotics in his hand. A deputy confronts Young Thug, and he turns over the item to authorities. When deputies searched Adams, they found him in possession of narcotics wrapped in plastic and food seasoning to conceal the odor, according to investigators. Adams was taken to Grady Hospital after he appeared to ingest other items of contraband in an effort to conceal the extent of his crimes within the courtroom. Prosecutors also filed a motion asking the court to make a finding of fact that court was delayed on January 18th, 2023 because of the actions of defendant Williams and defendant Adams, leaving the final tweet stating, an attorney named Keith Adams for Young Thug responded to the allegations that his client was involved in the deal, with the exclusive audio of one of Young Thug's lawyers reacting to these allegations on video being released online.
The reality is, Mr. Williams had nothing to do with what went on in the courtroom on yesterday. One of the co-defendants, on his way to the restroom, attempted to pass something to Mr. Williams, who immediately turned it over to the deputy.
He did not know it was allegedly Percocet?
Did not know. Well, we don't know what it is. Did not know what it was, turned it over to the deputy right away. The deputies took action. The individual who had the contraband, not Mr. Williams, was taken into the back.
It's currently being investigated to see if this YSL member was either trying to set up Young Thug in court to face more charges, or if he was genuinely just trying to help Young Thug get through the time in jail. However, there was one YSL member who intentionally gave Young Thug more charges. This YSL member is none other than Gunna, as on December 14th, YSL rapper Gunna accepted a plea deal in the courtroom. In this plea deal, he admitted that YSL is a street team that commits crimes as shared in this video clip.
You agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and you have have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance?
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocarbons and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL to the detriment of my community. YSL again. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
After the Gunna Snitching video went viral online, DJ Academics tweeted, YSL is having a beef on Instagram. Gunna came out, tried testing the water, claiming YSL the label and said free Young Thug. And everybody in YSL is looking at Gunna like, buddy, you're the reason that he's in there. As they all unfollowed him right after, even Young Thug's sister as well. Now this all began when Gunna first off accepted his plea deal, snitched out Young Thug, and was released from prison. A few days went by, Gunna, he tried quote testing the water by tweeting, rest in peace Lil Keed, I love you and I miss you twin, referring to the late rapper Lil Keed, who is a part of YSL, who sadly passed a few weeks into Gunna and Young Thug's jail time. He then later posted on Instagram a picture in his at-home studio with the caption stating, people acting like they're switching to a side, but it's only one side. Hashtag YSL the label. Free Young Thug and Yak. Now this Instagram post got a lot of backlash from YSL members that are staying true to YSL, as YSL King Mondo replied to Gunna on Instagram, I ain't gonna bite my tongue. Baby boy, you do not need to be saying nothing about YSL or Free Young Thug after what you said and did. You really got some nerve. Now this even led on to January 14th when none other than Lil Baby and Lil Durk, who were previously best friends with Gunna prior to the snitching video being leaked, cutting ties with Gunna. As DJ Academics shared a snippet of a new Lil Durk song. In the lyrics it says, what happened to Virgil, he probably gonna tell, referring to the collab song Lil Durk had with Gunna titled What Happened to Virgil. Lil Durk has not spoken publicly about Gunna snitching, but him sneak dissing in a song snippet likely proves he's not a fan of the idea and that neither of the two rappers will ever work together again. Now this even led into Lil Baby also making a very surprising move. As Academics tweeted, the streets are saying Lil Baby unfollowed Gunna today. Y'all think the industry giving Gunna too much of a hard time for being a truth teller or nah? Now this is a very serious deal. Lil Baby and Gunna have been best friends for several years. They started their music careers together, all under the wing of Young Thug. That's why this was such a surprising moment when Gunna snitched, considering Gunna would not be where he is without Young Thug. However, during that recent court hearing, Young Thug's new charges were also outlined, as out of 65 total charges, the YSL Kingpin Young Thug is being charged with 8 counts. These 8 charges Young Thug is facing is conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, otherwise known as the RICO charge, 1 charge of participation in criminal street activity, 1 count of possession of narcotics with intent to distribute, possession of a special type of drink with intent to distribute, possession of more narcotics, possession of a firearm, and 1 charge of possession of switches for firearms. These charges have all been confirmed as YSL members snitching on Young Thug gave the feds all of the evidence that they need for these charges against him, as Young Thug had a majority of these charges land on him after Gunna accepted his plea deal. YSL members, however, have been snitching on him ever since the first court hearing, as we all watched it happen right here.
He's the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's King Slime. He is the most dangerous of the 28, Judge. And I implore you not to grant him a bond. He is dangerous. If he gets a burner, Judge, and the court may know this, a lot of the communications that Mr. Williams is on FaceTime, because it's not traceable, it's not trackable. Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will them and their family. And they were very clear about that.
Concerns that this court has is danger to persons and to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
With allegedly 15 snitches in the YSL case now going against Young Thug, it's clear the prosecutors want him and only him, as this was proven when Gunna accepted his deal to be released. Young Thug's lawyers also argued for him to be released as well if Gunna was able to, but prosecutors were ready for this to happen, as while his lawyers were asking for Young Thug to get bond, the prosecutors made an argument to the judge that Young Thug has been using his social media still while behind bars to organize crime, as Young Thug had a tweet sent out on his Twitter account while his manager helped him, of course, as the tweet states, "I'm talking with my roommate and we're wondering if you could swim 100 miles from the middle of the ocean back to shore, at Michael Phelps." Now what seems like a very innocent tweet turned ugly, as here is Young Thug's lawyer defending him in court about it.
Williams is in a jail outside of Fulton County. There are 0 cell phones in that jail.
That last tweet that was sent out to Michael Phelps is recorded. It's been investigated by the sheriff of that county, and it was a conversation that's recorded between Mr. Williams and a member of his close friendships, that he asked the other person who has control of his Twitter account. That is not a reason to...
Well, this is part of the conversation, Mr. Steele, and you and others are going to need to have with your clients, because this is part of the state's concern. I mean,
that was an innocent. That's nothing bad. Asking somebody to tweet to Michael Phelps, "Can you swim 100 miles in the ocean?" That has nothing to do with intimidation. That ask you, Rico.
Well, if I can communicate through a family member or somebody else, then I can communicate something else.
Everything okay over there?
Sorry.
Yep. Okay, your family was concerned that something was going on. You're fine, right?
Yes, I'm great.
Okay, cool.
Allegedly, Young Thug is using his Twitter account through jail to send secretive tweets that have code words for YSL members that are not in jail to go do for crime. And somehow the prosecutors were able to convince the judge that this was true, leading Young Thug into getting denied from bond once again. Now, if you want to stay up to date with the Young Thug case, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you're a fan of Young Thug. It's been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.